Well, tonight on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we got some, news out of California. Now, California originally had their Reparations Commission, and it took about a little over a year or so to bring their findings. And in their findings, they said black people should get reparations in California. So it started a big ruckus, of course, with a lot of the folks, whether they on the right or the left. It did not matter. Even Democrats don't support reparations. The majority, I will say that. That's why I tell people in the community, Democrats are not black people friend, because they were truly our friend. They were truly the backbone. If we were the backbone, I would say, then it would have been a no-brainer for Democrats. But Democrats are in a position right now, they're going to lose the black voter. They're going to lose the black voter because they have to do something for black people. You see, the older generation, they gave them the Civil Rights Bill, the Voting Rights Act, things like that, right? Different programs. So that's why they was more loyal to vote Democrat. Now you have a new generation of people where we're not living off of that. In order for the Democrat Party to save itself, at least with the black vote, they're going to have to do reparations. It's just that simple. So you have Assemblywoman Kate Sanchez here. Let's put her up on the screen. Now, Kate Sanchez is out of California, Orange and Riverside counties to be exact. She's a Republican out there. And as you can see here, what she says on a tweet, a key committee just approved a California legislation bill to help distribute reparations that could total $800 billion. I was the only member to raise concerns. Why should California taxpayers foot the bill when none of us had anything to do with this? Ridiculous. This is what Miss Kate Sanchez has to say. So let's go ahead on and play that video real quick, and then we'll talk about it.
Economist consultants from the task force reported the total amount could be as much as $800 billion. $800 billion. That's 2.5 times the size of our entire state budget. To pay for that, you'd need a major tax hike unlike anything this state has ever seen before. I recognize and acknowledge the painful part of our history. The pains of our past should not be paid by the people of today. The majority of our state is Latino and Asian, making up 55% of our population. Most of them, like me, are first, second, or third generation immigrants who had nothing to do with slavery, discrimination, Jim Crow laws, nothing. It is fundamentally unfair to force these people to pay for this, and because of that, I will be opposing today.
Well, first and foremost, Ms. Sanchez, let's just have a conversation here, because you're saying that you're the only person that did not go with this. Well, I guess that's our minority coalition at work, right? You would think that all the people that we have allied with over the years, they'll be very quick to say, hey, you know what? The black community had our back. Now, since we're in a position of power, now let me go ahead on and have their back. You understand what I'm saying? And you wonder why black Americans not only delineate, but now they're saying, I'm not caping for nobody. I'm not coming to rescue for nobody. If it's not black Americans, you're on your own. Now you see, I want you to see why black Americans have the attitude they have right now. Thank Ms. Sanchez for that, right? Now, what Ms. Sanchez don't realize is that if it wasn't been for the fight of black Americans, she wouldn't have had the opportunity for her parents to come here by choice. Her parents weren't brought here in the bottom of a boat. Her parents wasn't enslaved in this land. Her parents didn't have to toil and didn't get paid a dime. Her parents came here and they worked and they provided a life for her, even to the point that she now is a assemblywoman in California, right? So if it wasn't meant for black Americans, that wouldn't have happened. But none of these people think about that. She mentioned Asians, how Latinos and Asians are the majority of that state, which that happened by design, and a lot of that happened by illegal means, because that is not natural how that happened. If you look at the population of California with white and black people, look at the population from back then and look at it now. That was done completely by design. Now, when you immigrate to a country, Ms. Sanchez, or you first generation, second generation, you are an American now. So since you're an American, you are part of anything that happens with our history. And our history has a dark past. You say you shouldn't have to pay for it. Well, you're an American. It's just bottom line. And it's not you, Ms. Sanchez. It's not you, folks. It's not you, individual Democrats. It's not you, individual Republicans. It is the United States government, or in this case, the California state government, that will be paying for that. I promise you, California will not have a deduction on your paycheck that's going to say reparations. I promise you, because California has a state tax, you wouldn't see part of the state tax when you have to pay it, a reparations tax on your state tax. And for surely you're not going to see it on the federal level. California is not going to deduct a reparations payment out of your bank account once a month. It's already going to be in the budget through a bill. And this $800 billion they're talking about, let's just keep it real. They're not going to pay it all at one time. They may spread it out 10 years or something like that. So if you mention more than the budget, yeah, maybe in 1 year, sure. But don't let them tell you that, oh, we don't have the money. Y'all got money for everything else. You mentioning tax hikes. California got some of the highest taxes in the union, the highest. So what's the difference? You pay them reparations over at least a 10-year span and you good. That's a small portion of the budget to pay for reparations. It's just that simple. But when you immigrate to a country, you immigrate to that country and you take on their history, you take on their problems, whatever it may be. You can't just take the good of America and benefit from America and not have to take on the history of America or even the bad of America. And this is why a lot of Black Americans have said there's no such thing as a minority coalition, an Asian Black coalition, Black Latino, Black and Arab. That's why Black people have backed completely off. Because when y'all had y'all time to shine, when you had your time to show what was right and do what was right for Black people, you didn't do it. See, if she thought about a coalition, all she had to say was, yeah, I approve that. And she said, yeah, I definitely approve that. Black Americans need their reparations. And then you would have more of a Black and Latino coalition in California. Sheriff Villanueva, when he was a sheriff in L.A. County, he had whole white supremacist gangs running around. He didn't do anything about it. It took investigations from all over the place to break some of that stuff up, and he had to get voted out because he got exposed as being complicit with all of that. But that's supposed to be our coalition right there. If anything, if we had a coalition, he would have rooted that out himself, called that out, pointed out everybody who's in it, and any charges he could have brought on them, he'd have brought on them because he would have been disgusted by that anti-Black racism, because he would have thought, you know what, if Black Americans didn't fight the way they fought, my family wouldn't have had the opportunity to come over here, and I wouldn't be sheriff for L.A. County if it wouldn't been for the opportunity that my parents received by the fight of Black Americans. And Black America, you need to call out every group, even the folks, every group who come here and benefit. Don't let them disrespect you. Oh, I work hard. You wouldn't have had no opportunity to work hard if it wouldn't have been for the fight of Black Americans. Because if we would have never fought and just dealt with it, trust me, the folks didn't want none of you here. None. All they wanted was Europeans landing on Ellis Island. That's all they wanted. They did not want nobody else here. Period. We fought for everybody to have an opportunity to come to America, to get their American dream. And then now you're starting to get it. And then you want to do Black Americans wrong when you have an opportunity to do Black America right. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. So this is why when y'all run up on us and say, what about this issue? What about that issue? Oh, this, that. That's why we're like, nah, we good. We're cool. Notice Ms. Sanchez, she didn't say, you know what? I'm first, second, third generation in this country, immigrant. I had nothing to do with the Trail of Tears. I didn't harm a Native American. Why should I be paying out of my money for Native Americans? You notice all of them who have an issue with reparations, they never say nothing about the Native Americans. They never say nothing about it. They never say, well, I got to pay. I've never seen on any paycheck of mine since I've been living Native American treaty pay as a tax. I never seen the IRS say you're being taxed for Native American treaty pay. I never seen the Treasury deduct money out of my bank account once a month or once a year for Native American treaty pay. Y'all have no problem, because think about it. You had nothing to do with the Trail of Tears. Black Americans had nothing to do with taking Native American people land, harming Native American people. We had nothing to do with that either. But my tax dollars that goes to the United States government goes to Native Americans. Do you see me on here every day complaining about that? No, because I have to pay my taxes just as much as you have to pay your taxes, ma'am. It's just that simple. So you're not going to complain about the Native Americans getting money, and they've been getting money for hundreds of years. Black Americans are saying, hey, we just want to get a one good time payout. We're not getting money for over 200 years. You understand what I'm saying? There's already programs on the books. The same program that the Native Americans get, I believe that's what Black Americans should get. It's already on the books. They get money. They've gotten land. They've gotten a tax-free status. Black Americans should get the same thing, in my opinion. The exact same thing. For every year we was enslaved, we should get that. But we're not even going that far as a community. We're saying, let's just get a reparations payment. And y'all complain about $800 billion when you waste $800 billion. You wasting trillions of dollars in California. They recently had a story about Gavin Newsom, a lot of money missing, and they can't account for it. Where the money at? But when it comes to Black Americans getting reparations, and Black Americans are what, about 6% of the population now in California? Not a whole lot. They're not 55% of the state. So it wouldn't be a whole lot of money to pay them, right? So no, if you immigrate to this country, you got to pay taxes like everybody else. And if reparations going to be paid, it's going to be paid. It's just that simple. Now, what I will say to the Democrat Party, this is your time to try to secure the black vote another 50 years. If California do reparations and the checks are going out, you better believe black people in California will be extremely loyal to the Democrats. And if that start being a ripple effect, start off in all blue states, that's how it's going to have to happen, black people are going to be extremely loyal to the Democrats. And Democrats won't have nothing to worry about at that point, because black people become very loyal again, more than what they, now is fraction is being fractured, but they would get super loyal again if they do reparations. Period. If Biden came out and said he was going to do reparations, and he actually, and he made all the senators and all the Democrats in Congress say, hey, you got to vote for reparations. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Hey, help us get some more people in the Senate so we can make sure it's filibuster proof. And we got a commitment. Everybody's voting for reparations. And we saw it done in California, because it has to be done in California first. And now the party said we doing it on the federal level too. The Democrats won't have nothing to worry about. Everybody and their mama will come out and vote again like they did for Obama. I promise you that. I don't even support Democrat like that. But if Democrats was going to do reparations in the form of cash payments, oh yeah, I vote Democrat, no problem. And I'm saying it openly. I don't support Democrat, but if they're going to give reparations, because I'm independent. So if Democrats are going to give me something, I'll vote for them. If Republicans going to give me something, I'll vote for them. If an independent candidate going to give me something, I'll vote for them. I'm not on nobody's team. I'm on the team of who going to give something to Black America. And that's what I'm voting for that day. Period. But we got to let Miss Sanchez know that, oh, ma'am, you're going to pay. You're going to pay because it's coming out the tax dollars. Now, if you got a problem with California paying California taxes, that's you in California on that. But if they say reparations is going through, and if Governor Newsom signs it off, and that's the way it is, then no, your only option, if you want to pay reparations, I guess just don't pay your taxes, but you're going to see how far that goes, right? I mean, she got some nerve. You immigrate over here, and then you say, you not fair. Life not fair. It's not fair to see black Americans be 6% of the population in California, but they the majority of the homeless. That's not fair. When you just admitted Asians and Latinos are 55%, but they're not the majority of the homeless. That don't even make sense, right, Ms. Sanchez? Right? So don't talk about what's not fair. Forget that. Life isn't fair. I figured that out a long time ago, and you should too.